Hey there everyone, this is Matt for Creative Reviews. Today we are here with an Apple MacBook Pro. This specifically is a 13-inch model with Retina Display, and this was released in late 2013. It has a 2.4 gigahertz Intel Core i5 processor. I got this in December, so this is going to be our experience review. Today is May 22nd, 2014. So I've had this for about 6 months or so, and this is actually what I use to produce all the creative reviews videos. As you can see, we have one of our videos pulled up here. Now, I do like this a lot, but unfortunately this is all that I could afford, and I know this is the least in price of all the MacBook Pro laptops that you can get. There is the MacBook Air, but it won't have that Retina display, or at least not yet. Now, what I used to produce on was an iPad, and then the iPad Air, and then I decided actually to get this because you have a lot more choices, you have a lot more range in what you can do and make your videos and actually view your content. And actually some things online you have to have a laptop, either a PC or a Mac, to be able to use it. YouTube, for example, is a little bit hard to navigate if you don't have a Mac or PC, because it'll always bump you to the YouTube app. So what we have here, this is Imovie, and this is the basic program that I use. This comes stock with your MacBook Pro or Air, and it does pretty much everything that I wanted to do. You can create fonts, you can view your video, you can upload things with an SD card. It does have a traditional SD port here on the side. You can also use an adapter and use a micro. It has two USB ports, one here on this side, one here on this side. It has a HDMI out, that's full HDMI, that's not micro HDMI, and it has two Thunderbolt ports right here. How it's charged is through a magnetic snap charger, and that goes right here. If you can see this on the side, it is not one of those round DC plugs, so you'll have to have an Apple specific charger, and if that breaks for any reason, you're out of luck. You got to get a new one from Apple, and that's something that I don't like seeing sometimes, but it is extremely useful snapping on and snapping off when you want to take this. Now, as we talk about battery life, the battery life is okay on this, and I'm only saying okay because I'm comparing this to a tablet. Now, I know this has more functionality than a tablet, but for what I use it for, video production and checking Facebook and going online, doing research, I do use them for the exact same thing. Because I can also get iMovie on the iPad, but it's not going to be the exact same experience. But saying that, I know that these are two very different animals. Battery life on here, when I'm doing production, when I'm uploading something, it actually can go pretty quickly. And I'm not one of those people who leaves the plug in, so that's going to deteriorate the quality of the battery. But I have to say that maybe doing work and watching videos and doing everything, also brightness at its very highest, it's honestly going to last maybe 3-4 hours. It's not going to be that long battery life that you see projected on Apple.com. Now, I don't know exactly what that is, but I know it's about 9 to 11 hours. You know, if you have things dimmed down, if you're not really doing much other than web browsing, maybe that's true, but for me, I use this for my video production, and it doesn't seem to get as high as I thought. Now, this is a lot better than what I used to. I used to have a PC, a Sony Vaio. It was pretty good on battery life, but this is just better. And this is the reason why you want to get the late 2013 version and not the early 2013. They made a significant, I believe they say, hour or two jump in battery life. That is at least a 20% jump in battery life altogether, whether it is 11 hours, as they say, or 4 hours, as I normally get here with video production and all that I do. Now let's talk about the processor here. This is the lowest processor that you could possibly get on a MacBook Pro currently, and it does its job. It doesn't do it that well, For example, when you import things, things will look a little bit jerky. Let's see if we can take a look. Now this is something that I made yesterday. Everything here is set in stone. This has been saved. But it seems actually to be rendering quite nice right now. Let's see how it looks full screen. It does look fine with no jerks, but I just have to say when I upload new content on here and I'm doing editing, I'm putting different fonts inside and taking them out, I'm doing transitions, it does tend to show up jerky here. And actually when I view any other video or play any other game, except for one, it seems to render perfectly and smoothly, and it seems that's all you need. This is the processor that should be your choice if you're going with a MacBook Pro, unless you're doing really heavy over iMovie kind of editing. Photos also look great on here. It's just this Retina display is what you have to have. When they come out with a MacBook Air with Retina display, that's when I'll go down to that, and that's fine. By the way, this does have a 128 gigabyte solid state drive. Solid state's the only way I would say to go unless you're doing a hybrid type thing. But 128 seems to be enough for what I do. I do about one video a day. I have a few saved up beforehand just for reference, then I have the most current one that I'm working on, and I seem to have about 50 gigabytes left over to play around with. That is including my music that I store. I believe I have maybe 1,000 songs, and also the newest Simcity game, which is where I see it render a little bit slow sometimes, and if you'll allow me to show you quickly, we'll see how that looks on here. Here we have Simcity. There are times when it does need some updates, so let's see how fast this goes on. In other videos, I'll be showing you the speed in which this turns on and shuts off, and that is a pretty quick speed, but if you're used to a tablet, nothing will compare to that. All right, so we logged in here to Origin. Again, it always asks us for an update of some kind, but let's hope it just lets us pass now. Yeah, downloading updated app. It seems to always do this, so bear with us here. But all in all, maybe I won't even show you this unless it's really quickly, which it seems to go. It just seems a little bit jerky, and of course SimCity doesn't take use of all the pixels that it has available here. I don't understand why. While this is loading, let me just show you one thing. If you want to go to View, actually, how do we do this? Show View Options. Sorry. I can never remember how to do this. But right now we have this in the mode that optimizes everything for space. If you want, you can shrink or you can increase the size of everything, but it won't be using every single pixel. How you do that is you can go into settings and change the view on here. In fact, it would make the icons look a little bigger, but in this way you get more on your screen, and that helps out a lot. I'm sure you can find that out on your own. So we're going to restart the app and just quickly show you this, and I believe that'll be it for this experience review. But I'd say 128 gigabytes is fine. The lowest processor speed is fine, unless you're going to be doing something that requires a lot of processing power. And of course, these being the pros, you'll be able to jump up. So let's listen, see how this sounds. This is about 75% of the volume. So let's go to the game itself. And there's offline mode, which is a great help if you know SimCity. So we're going to resume my little city and show you how this works. And remember, MacBook Pros are not touch. I'd say something like SimCity is better for touch, but totally different issue altogether. So here we go. Let's see if we can move around, and let's see if this is a little jerky. As you can see, moving back and forth. It's a little bit slow to realize my commands. In this case, in panning, it's actually fine. But zooming in and out, it's a little bit slow. And again, it doesn't use all of the pixels that I would like it to. But that's just an unfortunate thing. But it seems to run the game adequately. And unfortunately, it's really hard to actually navigate this with just the trackpad. But if you can see here, it is a little bit jerky. It's not the extremely smooth experience. But if you're watching something on YouTube, if you're watching something that you've downloaded on iTunes, or you're streaming off maybe, let's say, abc.com, it is perfectly smooth. I've run into no problems with that. It's just with games, and I know that's not even a graphic intense game. If you play something more, you may want to bump up. All in all, I'd say this is a great device. It's better than making a movie on the iPad Air. So if you are a movie producer like myself, go with the laptop. It is always the better choice. Even though it is more expensive, these do start at $1,299, where the iPad begins at $499. So difference in price, but I would say producer and content, and I would say the iPad is a consumer content. All right, check out our later videos where we'll go over the start and shutdown times for this model. And I hope you enjoy this video. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Blogger. Let us know what you like and what you don't like. And don't forget to subscribe.